What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and today we are going to talk about a brand new movie called Inside. But before we get into that movie review, let's talk about what's going on inside my movie theater room, because clearly the background looks different. So basically, I'm turning my whole movie theater room. I used to do my reviews way over in that corner, and over here was essentially a big couch for my movie theater room. So I've moved things. I moved my work desk right here. You're going to see all of it in an upcoming video down the road, so be on the lookout for that. And I do have a new place to actually shoot my YouTube reviews, but it's not ready yet. I have to do a lot of painting. And like you can see up there with that window, I need to black that out. I bought the stuff for it, just didn't have time. So it was either do more work down here today, get closer to being done, or shoot some reviews. And I chose the review route. So with all of that being said, let's talk about Inside with Willem Dafoe.
Cats die. Music fades. But art is for keeps.
And so, guys, the movie Inside is directed by this guy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And it stars Willem Dafoe as an art thief. And if you watched the trailer for this movie, you know that Willem Dafoe is now trapped inside of this apartment that he was trying to rob. And so now Willem Dafoe is alone inside of this apartment with very little food, very little water, and no plumbing. And on top of all that, the thermostat is messed up, and there's actually a heat and cooling issue, so it'll get extremely hot, and then it'll switch and it'll get extremely cold. So at first you're like, well, he's stuck in an apartment. It can't be that bad. You just break out. Well, he tries to do that, but the windows won't break. He's up too high for anyone to notice him. And then on the other side of the apartment is the way out, which is a door, and he tries to break through that, but it has a metal sheet in the middle of the door to keep people from breaking in, and in this case, out. So now he's trapped inside this apartment and has to deal with all of the elements of being in horrible weather, along with having very little food, and again, no plumbing, since the person who owns the apartment is on vacation. I really like the setup for this movie. I really like the idea of this movie. And basically what this movie is it's a man's descent into madness, and how long can he stay sane? And that's very interesting because over the course of this movie, I think it's like 2 or 3 months, but it could be longer than that. And he has to try and survive on his own within this apartment. And that's pretty much the whole synopsis of this movie that I can give you without ruining anything. And I don't want to ruin anything for you. So let's get into my likes, and then we'll talk about my dislikes. For my first like of this movie, it's Willem Dafoe. Honestly, you had to get the right actor in this position to make this movie work, because you've got to have an actor that can sell being normal and then slowly going crazy. And if there's any actor in Hollywood that can sell going crazy over time, it is 100% Willem Dafoe. Gives me some Lighthouse vibes. That's a movie that I originally reviewed on this channel, and I didn't like it at all. And over time, I've actually come to appreciate it, and just haven't got around to making a second review for it. So that original review is there, but I talked nothing but badly about the movie, so that's not really my thoughts now. It's one of the problems with doing reviews right off the bat. Over time, things can change. It just is what it is. But whatever, that's the nature of the game. Let's talk about this movie. I did like Willem Dafoe's descent into madness. At one point, he's talking to a pigeon who broke its wing somewhere on the apartment ledge, and so it's just sitting there looking at him, and it's just him and the pigeon. That's probably one of my favorite parts of this movie. And you see him start to crack, and he starts to go, "No one here but us pigeons. No one here but us pigeons." And you see that little smile that comes on his face, and he just sells that creepy, insane vibe so well, and he just worked for me in this movie. Another thing I like about this movie is the fact that he did have to survive within this movie, and I think that idea of taking an apartment complex and making it basically a prison for someone, and saying, hey, you have very low food, very low water, there is a way out, but it is going to be extremely difficult for you to get to that. Do you have what it takes to not break before you get to that point? And I really liked how they played with this apartment. I really liked the elements, the thermostat changing from hot to cold throughout helped make it stressful on him, and you, the viewer, were like, oh my god, it's changing back to heat, oh my god, it's changing back to cold, and you really like that over time. I will add on to that, saying that while some of the ways to survive could be extremely gross, some of the things he has to do to survive just make you feel queasy. This isn't a movie I would recommend you eat during, but some of the ways that he survives, they are effective on the viewer. And so I just said, like, oh, you don't want to eat during some of this movie. That's very fair. However, they're effective for the movie going. So yeah, maybe leave the popcorn out of this movie if you're going to watch it. Just, focus on the movie itself and don't get grossed out like I did. I had some candy and I was like, nah, I'm going to put my milk duds away for now. That's just how I felt. For dislikes, guys, I will say that I think that this movie, there were little gripes that I have. First of all, there's a moment at the beginning where he's searching for water, and you, the viewer, are like, just turn on the sink. But after about 30 minutes, he does try the sink, and all this plumbing is off. So the character already knew that the plumbing was off, and you, the viewer, didn't. So I just feel like they could have done that. Again, it's a little gripe. I'm not going to hold it against this movie. My other issue with this movie is I think it could have benefited from just a little more information on Willem Dafoe's character. I understand that this is a movie that was set in one location with one person, and the whole idea was to sort of go to the extreme with that person. I think that's the point of this movie. So what extremes are you willing to go to survive? That's what I got out of it on one viewing. However, I think it would have been cool if they would have added in some flashbacks for this movie to sort of explain where he came from, what his deal is, how did he become an art thief. Like, that's all stuff I want to know. I really was invested in this character of the movie, and I enjoyed the survival element of this movie. But if you had tagged on about 20 to 30 more minutes, I think you could have added in a little bit of backstory for him to make you care about his character a little more. Because as far as this movie goes, it's just an art thief who broke in and gets stuck, and there's a level of care I need to have as a viewer, and I'm like, no, I mean, stupid games, stupid prizes, this is what you get. So I don't know, I feel like they could have done a little more to make me a little more invested in his character, wanting his character to escape. But those are just little gripes that I had coming off of one viewing. Maybe if I see this movie one or two more times, I see it in the privacy of my own home, maybe I'll be able to enjoy this movie a little more or get something else out of it. But with that said, guys, overall I will say that I think Inside was a fun time at the movie theater, and if you like movies that sort of deal with the descent into madness, they're set in one location, you have one person who's trying to escape, I think you will enjoy this movie, and I think you should go check it out in theaters. If that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, well, there's a lot of action movies coming out this month. You might want to try one of those instead. But guys, that's my movie review for Inside. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit the like and the share button. If you have seen Inside and you've got thoughts and comments, put that in the comment section down below, because I love talking about movies with you guys. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do that. I've got a lot of content coming your way, including movie reviews. Next week we get John Wick, and I'm very excited about that. And also be on the lookout on my channel for a new movie theater walkthrough. I think you guys are going to like what I did with the place. All right, guys, another review is done. If you like this review and you want to see more, you can click right there for all my 2022 reviews, or right there for all my 2023 reviews so far.